There was an interesting debate on Jeremy Vine today, and I think it missed the point almost completely. The government's plans to put migrants from hotels into barges parked on riverbanks or by the side of ports is possibly transferring a problem from one place to another. Uh, and it's also potentially increasing the sense of incarceration, transferred from one prison, pseudo hotel, to another prison, more like a Victorian prison ship. And it may be much harder to get out of these things to get to the mainland. People will, and on airstrips and disused military sites, they will find it much harder to leave and to meet their families and their friends across the UK. This is why they came in the first place. People tend not to come to the UK without having some sort of link. Establishing that link would be a wise way to proceed for the Home Office, but I don't give the Home Office much credit for wisdom. Where did the 400 odd children who were taken from hotels go to? We've heard nothing further since that. Now that the Albanian threat has receded, now that there's very few Albanians coming across the channel, we hear very little about the, quote, as Suella Braverman would say, invasion! All of this needs serious thought. And I would argue that these migrants have now, as far as the government concerned, served their purpose. They've done their time in hotels. They've roused the rabble to protest about migrants in five-star hotels. Well, the hotels that I've seen pictured are certainly not five-star hotels. They're one stage worse than the Novichok hotels, which I was at one point put in. Frankly, a fate worse than death. Nobody would really want to go and stay in such places. These hotels are holding centres, while people are left in limbo. It's a sort of modern concept of hell, the sort of thing that Dante might have devised. Waiting, without any certainty of what is going to happen next. That isn't a desire on the part of migrants to fleece the public and stay in a five-star hotel. What complete bosh. No. They were in five-star hotels, or they were in four-star hotels, or three-star hotels, or whatever they were. Most of them were not five- or four-star hotels. They were in hotels to rouse the rabble to protest about migrants coming over here. Far fewer migrants come to Britain than to France or Germany or Italy or Greece. Far fewer. Far fewer migrants indeed come to Britain than come to Turkey. We have it much easier, and yet we're kicking up such a fuss, and we are treating these people like scum. And now we're herding them into disused sites and boats. Well, we could have done that long ago. We could have done that long ago, and that really is the point. We could have done that at any point in this crisis, quote. This crisis has been manufactured simply to rabble rouse. That's a disgrace. That's an absolute disgrace. And now that rabble is no longer needed. The government thinks that by moving these people, herding them elsewhere, they're going to quieten the rabble in time for an election. That won't happen. I think the government has forgotten that when you ignite a piece of paper, it burns, and it burns much more mightily than you might expect, and you cannot control it. The government has ignited the paper. Suella Braverman pretty well lit the torch herself along with Priti Patel, and they're gleefully watching it burn. Why else would she be laughing in Rwanda? No. These foolish Home Office ministers think they can control public emotions. All they've done is released the worst of us. They have released the worst instincts, the worst noises, the worst rabble. And the people who are being herded into boats and onto airstrips, disused airstrips, old military bases, are human beings with families, with aspirations. Many of them are looking to us for help. Some of them indeed want to work and are capable of work and want to give back something to this country that has taken them in. But we have this absurd rule that they can't. Why not? There is no reason for this. Why not? If they're costing us so much money, why can't they work? Why can't they have the dignity of looking after themselves while they wait for our go-slow Home Office to finally make up its mind?